Hi guys, today a look on the teardown at the Wendel and Goltermann OLP25 optical power meter I got with a suitcase, one of the two devices in it. So we have this very sturdy black box, as you can see. On the front the manufacturer label, LCD display, two banana jacks here. Not sure what they are for exactly. Potentiometer for setting reference level, LCD display, on-off button, and of course the fiber optics input with different adapters you can mount on it. So it seems to be measuring some kind of light input, and you can see you can select three wavelength for different kind of fiber lasers, and here you can select absolute minus reference and reference level. It seems it has automatic power off, but if you press the on button it is supposed, yes, it lies as permanent, so it will not switch off in this mode. So we have here the input for the fiber optic with adapter you can replace. We will have a look at them in a second. On this cover you are supposed to always put back in place to protect from dust. On the back side, battery compartment and the instruction label. As you can see. And the interesting thing about Wendel and Goltermann equipment is their serial numbers. They are always made with 2 letters and 4 numbers. And the sticker with the serial number is glued either behind a front panel or a back panel overlay. So you cannot tamper easily the serial number, just like the serial numbers of cars, which are placed behind the dashboard, and you can read it through the windshield on newer cars. So it is quite the same concept. You cannot access to it easily and with no damage. In fact, probably tamper-proof. So about this input here, it seems it works with some kind of photodiode, which you can see here. Just quite a regular kind of photodiode, square die and golden package around it. So about these adapters, I have 3 different models. So this one is for some kind of screw mount fiber connector with 2 thumb screws here, as you can see, and in the middle very absolutely tiny hole. It must be I don't know, 1/10 of a millimeter or something like so. Really small. No, maybe even smaller. In fact, you can barely see it with naked eye. So the 2 other adapters I have in these fancy boxes. This one seems pretty high-end, as you can see. Quite a beefy screw mount here. And there is an insert here. This one is more complicated. It is made of several parts. Sadly, there is a model 14 on it, but there is no model number. I have checked eBay, and these adapters alone are sold over 50 euros. So it is really not cheap equipment. This one is kind of the same than this one, except it is a little bit thicker, and it is bayonet mount, not screw mount. But seems to be the same diameter here almost. So it allows to mount 3 different kinds of fiber optics. Okay. So about this box now, on the back we have the battery compartment. which is locked with like so, with a little slider, as you can see. And the battery, you are just supposed to pull it. There is a switch all at the back because you can select between accumulator and the battery. And if you place an accumulator inside, you can recharge it with DC input on the side. So it is a new battery. By the way, there is a story about these batteries. I did get 2 of them. It was a pack of 2 at the store, and the cashier did forget to scan it. In fact, they did not scan it correctly, and I did not pay them. So they are free energy. So there is a switch at the bottom for selecting, and also there is something quite well made. In fact, on the battery contacts here it is written minus and plus, but you cannot insert them in the battery in the wrong direction. It will block you because there is a shape here in the plastic molding, and you cannot insert it backwards, which is quite good considering the price of this equipment. It is still worth a few. In fact, you can find them on eBay for less than 50 euros, but other sellers sell them several hundred euros. But there is one seller in France which has them at a good price, but not as cheap as I got them, of course. So we have the screws. By the way, they are very long brass screws. Spare no expense, obviously. 4 of them. And if I flip open this cover, here is what we have. So on this side, some shielding, screw mount here for tripod or something like this, and just the DC input jack with shielding here, grounding. And you can see the thickness of this. It is maybe 5 or 6 millimeters thick, something like this. And really sturdy. It is a little bit soft material, some rubbery plastic in fact. And we have here brass guides for the screws. So here are the electronics. There is this cover which is now loose. About the electronics, on this side you can see offset setting potentiometer here maybe. Let me check. Oh no, excuse me, it is in fact the body of the selector button here, and this is the potentiometer. So we have here probably calibrating potentiometers, 4 of them. And apart from this, it is upside down, what seems to be mostly analog circuits. PMI OP220, PMI OP20, LM246, LM258. Okay. More potentiometers here, very tidy work as you can see on the circuit board, and a static sensitive label here. And here probably the expensive bit. We have a shielded container. I guess it must be an hybrid circuit with its own serial number, laser engraved it seems, date code of 1994. Yes, this I did forget to mention, this device, it was made in 1995. I have a calibration paper of it with the name of the guy and everything. Okay, so here we have the 2 screws attaching the mount for the fiber adapter, and I guess it should be able to pull the thing out. Yes, like so. So here is first the back of the front panel, as you can see, the same very sturdy plastic. The front piece here is aluminium, and this green button is in fact pushing to a key switch here. And we have one socket mounted LCD with at the bottom probably the main IC, but I cannot read the reference, and I will not attempt to remove this LCD because I do not want to break this. We have MC14020 ICs here, CD4013, CD4013, and one other MC series here. More analog stuff, more trimming. Potentiometers, and this I do not know what it is looking weird. Wires for the battery here, the little switch to select between the accumulator and the battery, and of course the obligatory cracked RIFA capacitor, well, at least only one of them here. It is not too bad, but I definitely can see a crack here on the side. Well, as at least it is not a mains voltage going on it, so maybe luckily it will not explode. But these things are really bad. They always go bad. Okay, in fact it is odd what we have in this device. You can see the battery box. I will dezoom a little bit, maybe it will be better, like so. The battery box is attached with two bolts, and it keeps together the two circuit boards at the same time, and we have a few golden board-to-board connectors connecting the two PCBs. So it is really well made, but it does not seem extremely complicated. I guess the expensive stuff must be this photodiode and this probably very special hybrid circuit. Okay. The brand here is SEL. It is a German brand. They made the famous SEM35 radios, military radios. And this can here is laser welded, so I cannot open it. Okay, the switch here. And apart from this, it will be all for this one, I guess. But I have a feeling the other device, the optical attenuator, must be much more complicated inside because it is much more heavy, but maybe also much more delicate to take apart. I have a feeling the optical attenuating part will be sealed or something like this, and maybe we will not be able to have a look inside with no damage anyway, and it should be sad to ruin the thing. Maybe just touching these PCBs here did decalibrate something, so okay, and it is very easy to put back together, as you can see. Really well made, this thing. Just a matter of replacing the screws. Do not forget the cover for the light input. So the screws are long, but in fact it is just a few turns to make them go in contact. Yes, 12 turns, something like so. Here we are. So it is really, you have really the feeling of quality equipment. It is really nice to work on such stuff. This little cover is really nice too, and I will maybe first replace the adapter here in order to limit the amount of light we are getting, and it should still be working. It takes a few seconds to boot, it seems. Reference is here. Yes, maybe it needs warming the photodiode or something like so. It's quite interesting. So of course if I remove this thing, we should go really high in the measurements. Yes, it is supposed to receive a very focused laser dot in the middle, so and to a special wavelength. This is not for ambient light, so I have no means really to test this thing. I see it is powering up, but I can't tell if the calibration is all bad or not. Okay, quite interesting. So in the next video we will have a look inside the optical attenuator, but first I need to research a little bit how they work. So thanks for watching, bye bye.